Get a £5 free bet every week with Offer Club from William Hill. Simply stake a total of £20 or more across the week on pre-match football accumulators with 4 or more selections, and you'll get a £5 free bet on the Friday. Join William Hill Offer Club on mobile or online now.
IFL TV in association with Macklin's Gym Marbella. With me, I've got BLAIN McGUIGAN. We're here today for the press conference with George Groves with Edouard Goodnet. Firstly, how are you, mate? It's been a little while since we caught up.
Yeah, mate, I think it was Frampton Quig, wasn't it?
Frampton Quig, yeah.
Yeah, no, really well. Good presser. Interesting bunch, the Germans. So,
yeah.
I think that's the best way of putting it.
Bit less interesting, in not in a bad way, than the Quig Frampton presser. You was one of the stars of that presser, if I do believe right.
I think one of the Muppets of that presser might be in the. We all got a little bit heated, didn't we? But yeah, that's a different kind of vibe. I think this one's a lot of respect, and I think it's going to prove for a good fight on the night. You know, I think they're here to win, and Groves, he's looked phenomenal in the gym, so I'm expecting a good fight.
Let's talk a little bit about Edouard Goodnet. He's obviously kind of campaigned at light heavyweight, held a European title at that weight.
It's a weird one because he's not big, is he?
He doesn't look the biggest of men, no. So maybe he can just boil down to super middle quite easy.
I think it's more that he just couldn't find the fights. You know, I think he fought Stieglitz back in 2010 and didn't really show up. You know, I'll be honest. Yeah. And then he got the Bramer fight at light heavy, I think it was. For the European title, and he felt like he got robbed in that one. Did the rematch, but again I think he got given only about a couple of weeks notice for that one. So I mean, he's had about 8 weeks for this, 8-9 weeks, big, you know, fairly decent camp, so I imagine that he's pretty pumped up, and I think he's coming for a serious fight. I don't think he's, you know, turning up as an opponent or anything like that. He's really he's G'd up, although he's one of those silent, slightly strange characters.
George Groves has got some good momentum going. Great win over Martin Murray, and I know recently he's just had, him and his partner have just had their first child as well.
Yeah.
How important is it if he wants that 4th world title shot, the likes of Fudor, that he takes out people like Edouard Goodnet?
I think that's what this fight is about. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a rollover by any stretch of the imagination. He's in against a tough, durable guy who's operated at world level, but he's got to look good. You know, that's what this whole show is for. It's putting him on a platform like Channel 5, get him a lot of viewers, and basically he's got to look good, and I think he will. And then the claim for you know, a world title, I think it has to happen. Chudinov is apparently, I mean, you probably know this better than me, is apparently the first in line. So I suppose it's him against somebody, and that should be George Groves after Friday night.
Rightly so. Let's talk a little bit about the promotion of the show. You're promoting this show under the Cyclone banner.
Yep.
How have things sort of developed with Channel 5, and how have you found it since you've sort of got that network and that promotion going?
It's been interesting, mate. You know, when we first started working with them, it was a bit of an unknown for us. You know, we'd worked with ITV, we'd done a bit with Sky, we've done quite a lot with BoxNation. So, but they're a great team, and they let us make the fights that we want to make, and they've given us some backing. And then I think we'll have an announcement in the next couple of weeks about 2017, and it's encouraging for the sport. You know, it gets us hopefully a few more fights on terrestrial, and we're going to bring the best fights we possibly can for the budgets that we have. That's the main selling point of our company.
How important is it that you've got this outlet so you can attract the best in young talent? We've seen fighters like Josh Taylor coming through under the promotional banner, and really with the platform to develop now, it could be really exciting times for fighters like him.
It is, and you know, you look at Josh, it was his 7th fight. He fought a really decent fight with Dave Ryan, and looked phenomenal, looked spectacular, got a whole load of new fans, and that's what this whole show is about with Cyclone and Channel 5. It's getting people onto the right platform and giving the fans, the casual fans, the chance to view the best talent in Britain, which I believe Josh Taylor is, and I think that Andrew Selby is as well.
You mentioned Andrew Selby, he's obviously on the undercard, struggling to find someone to defend his British title against as well, which must be very frustrating from him. Well, you know personally how much the Lonsdale means to the fighters. The fact to win it outright is a huge honour and a real achievement to some of these lads.
It's not just the Lonsdale. I mean, we looked at the Commonwealth as well, but apparently that guy Isamba was going to fight Jamie Conlon. I don't know what went on there, but obviously that wasn't available for us, so that's why we had to look abroad, and we picked a guy who's in the top 15 with the WBO, Jake Bornier. He's a really tough little cookie, and I imagine that he's going to test Andrew a bit, on Friday night. I can see him taking him into the later rounds, and maybe taking Andrew to a place that he's not been as yet as a professional. So it's going to be interesting. I think it's a good fight.
A couple of other good fights on the undercard. One I'm quite excited about, Paddy Gallagher v Temuka Mucha.
Yeah,
very highly rated Temuka Mucha, very under the radar. And I've had the pleasure of watching him a few times as a Paddy Gallagher, one of boxing's characters, shall we say. It was quite an interesting matchup, that one, to say the least.
It's two serious characters. I think that's the best way of putting it, and two serious fighters as well. Paddy Gallagher, he lost twice in one night. I think that's a record. Has anyone ever done that before? I'm not
can't
sure.
think of anyone.
So, he took it on the chin. He regrouped. We've been working with him for the last couple of fights, and he's looked great. His last 2 fights, we'd like to have got him a few more, but we're going to work on that next year with him. And he's looked great in these last 2 fights. He knocked out Tony Dixon. The last one was a spectacular shot, and the one before that was like a highlight reel clip where he knocked the guy pretty much clean out in Belfast. Guy hit the canvas, woke up. Paddy, being a character, was celebrating with the crowd, then had to turn around and he had another round and a half, I think, of a decent scrap. So, yeah. He's a great fighter, and I think that one will possibly, steal fight of the night.
Don't know how much you can tell me about this. Obviously, David Haye, we're led to believe he's not going to fight this year. If so, early next year he'll be looking for a broadcaster. You guys obviously got massive platform in Channel 5 now.
Yeah.
Is it logical that David Haye comes to fight on Channel 5?
I think that's up to David, really. I mean, I'm not going to comment on that. David is his own man, and he's done really well on Dave. For whatever all the sort of some haters in the boxing game say about it, it's got him 3 and 3.5 million viewers for his last 2 fights. So, you can sort of take whatever view you want of that. But for me, I think that's positive. So, if he wants to go onto Channel 5, it's there, But I think he can have his own mind for next year. I think he may have other plans.
Can we get a quick word from you on the BoxNation link up with BT Sport, potentially 28 shows a year?
Unbelievable.
What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's fantastic, unbelievable. It's another step for the company. I think they've done really well in the last couple of years, and hats off to them. It's fantastic for the sport, and I think it just means that look at next year for boxing in Britain. You've got Sky, you've got BoxNation and BT delivering, both of them probably 20 odd shows, and then you've got the likes of Channel 5, who are going to be delivering more shows than they did this year, I can tell you that much. And you've also got Dave dipping their toe in, other channels having a look. So who knows? I think we're going to have the biggest year for British boxing in a long time.
Listen, I'm not going to take up too much of your time. I appreciate you answering my questions so honestly, sir.
Buddy.
And hopefully we catch you at the next one. Thank you very much.
See you then.
Top man. Thank you.